Hey guys, it's your favorite Dinobot here. Sorry if this is short, but read the description down below on why it is. So without further ado, let us begin. Our story continues and kind of wraps up because this would definitely be like the season 2 time period on Cybertron, where we actually see Soundwave, or we pretty much go to the High Council room where Soundwave is pretty much having a mind-controlled Power Master Optimus with the Magnus Hammer right now, going up against his friends GRIMLOCK, Flare Up, Black Arachnid or Alita, and obviously a beaten up Sentinel Prime slumped against the wall. And so Soundwave simply gives him the order to kill his friends. And so Optimus Magnus, in this powered up state, Bull grabs his hammer, basically charges it up and rushes at him. Full force and everything. And he pretty much goes up into the air and comes right down with his hammer. However, this is where GRIMLOCK comes in and actually able to not only grab him by the hammer, but kind of match him hand for hand. And basically, they get into a contest of strength where GRIMLOCK is practically pleading for his friend to return, telling him that Optimus had helped him overcome a lot, help him find himself, help him get great battles and everything, help him get new friends and family. And this is where Alita also chimes in, actually getting closer, as GRIMLOCK can pretty much restrain him at this point, even though it is a little bit difficult. And a Black Arachnid or Alita is pretty much just using this opportunity to talk to him. And this is actually working, as it not only gives Power Master Optimus a chance to kind of fight it, but it also gives him time to rally every other citizen of Cybertron. Keep in mind, in Soundwave's mental scape, this is where all the consciousness of every Cybertronian would be at this point. And so he's trying to rally them. And well, some of them are still skeptical because of all the lies that Sentinel had told them. All the things that he's did has kind of broken up Cybertron. And we have people like Blur, Ironhide, Brawn, Red Alert, Hotshot, you name it. They're all pretty much skeptical about Optimus. And this is where Optimus simply tells him that everything they know about him is a lie. He was chosen personally by Ultra Magnus, and that he wouldn't have had the hammer if he didn't. And so this is where some of the Autobots are still kind of, resigned or, confused about this and really not trying to trust Optimus. But this is where Optimus pretty much gives one of his greatest speeches of all time. You know how the Optimus Prime speeches work. And then this is where Rodimus Prime actually comes and sides with him, telling him that right now it is our best bet to work together. And he tells the Cybertronians who's with him, who's with Optimus Magnus, and all the Cybertronians pretty much just cheer and get ready. However, this is where a giant Soundwave appears, kind of like in the, original part of Human Era Part 2, giant white Soundwave, and then he summons his, oh god, I realize how this is about to sound here, his black minions that look like him. Oh man, I know how that sounded, but again, you know what, we're just gonna have to continue with it. So pretty much Soundwave is, fighting against the entire army of Cybertron, being led by Optimus. And believe it or not, throughout this fight, Soundwave is trying everything. He tries his mental attacks, even turns every Cybertronian into a human, but again, it doesn't work. They know it's an illusion, and they're rallying behind their leader. And Soundwave actually gives his, kind of gives into his frustration a bit, as he thought he won. He had everything, a robot utopia under his control. It's going to be absolutely funny or kind of ironic how he pretty much dies. And so this is where we pan over to the vault where the Allspark is being contained, and it opens. But not only that, but as it glows, it begins to morph itself. The entire container begins to morph and begins to resonate with Optimus. And then once it's fully formed into what it needs to, it pretty much just blasts its way out of the chamber and flies right into the hallway, or right through the hallway. And then we will pan over back to the battle where Sentinel pretty much regains constant consciousness. And he says, Cybertron may be in better hands for now. And the Sword Flare-Up simply turns to him and asks him, What are you on about? What is your nonsense this time? And so this is where she's actually sent flying my Sentinel with his Skyboom shield, sending her crashing into one of the stands of the High Council chamber. And Grimlock runs over. He's like, oh my gosh, no, my baby girl, my baby mama, my future baby mama. Runs over to her and pretty much checks on her. However, Optimus is simply free at this point. But Grimlock's not worried about right now. He takes his sword out and pretty much just slaps Sentinel across the room. Now, yes, he could have punched him. We all know how we love Sentinel getting punched in his face repeatedly. But Sentinel uses this time and uses momentum to actually utilize this to flip out towards the entrance and simply tells the Dinobot, you're going to be the first one that pays when I come back with my army. And so Sentinel transforms and drives off to an unknown location. And now we will pan over back to Optimus at this time. And well, the matrix of leadership not only flies through the entire building, but it actually makes its way towards Optimus, who's pretty much standing over Alita, finally breaking or somewhat breaking the mind control. And then the matrix simply flies right through him. Keep in mind, it will like phase through his chest, and it kind of fuses with his spark. I'm not sure how the matrix would work initially, but it not only begins to resonate with Optimus, but all of Cybertron. And the last thing Soundwave sees before he's purified and pretty much erased is Optimus and Alita sharing a long-awaited and overdue kiss. And this purifies everyone on Cybertron, even the planet itself, and even purifies the Warpath Supremes and kind of makes them their own Omega Sentinel so that they're not connected to Warpath. And Flare Up, gaining consciousness, does kiss Grimlock as well, saying that they did it. He says, yeah, we won. But now he realizes something. Oh shoot. He forgot that Sentinel escaped in his in this moment, right? So he transforms and tracks him down with Flare Up, Jazz, and Depth Charge right behind him, along with the rest of the other Dinobots, and they're beelining it as fast as they can. But they miss him. Just barely miss him. As right now, he's on a ship, and he states they're going to need an army if they're going to come back. You know any other Decepticons that would be willing to follow him or willing to join him? And this is where we turn over to the biggest or second biggest wimp of Cybertron, that being Starscream, with him stating, yes, 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 I know a few Decepticons that would actually join us. As a matter of fact, I know a place where we can build more, better, stronger Decepticons. And this is where Sentinel gets a devious smile on his face. And he says, good, set coordinates to that planet. We'll be back. And we'll be back stronger than ever. And this is where Starscream simply states, yes, Lord Sentinel. But you know, it's kind of got that little twinge of, what's the word I'm looking for? Malice to it. You know, it's still Starscream at the end of the day, you know? So, this is where we pan over to a peaceful Cybertron, with Optimus Magnus and his entire team of Autobots simply standing in front of everyone, with them simply chanting, Optimus, 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 cheering his name and everything. And this is where Boneley simply asks him, so, Big Boss, now that you're in charge, what's the plan? We're going to relax till, you know, another threat comes? To which Optimus says, no, normally he would. But right now, he still has to figure out what Sentinel is planning and make him pay for what he did. And this is where Grimlock simply states he wants to go out there and he wants to hunt Sentinel down himself. And this is where Black Arachnia or Alita simply states, now big guy, while that is a wonderful proposition, not right now. Let's actually take the time to enjoy our home, enjoy our new family. And so the Dinobots simply transform and all pretty much breathe fire into the sky, signifying Optimus's new leadership as Magnus. And that's where we're going to leave it off here. Now, I know I left it off here, but I actually do have plans to continue this series to where we kind of have a more Dinobot centered, or Dinobot or Grimlock and Optimus maybe focused story, where they both go after Sentinel and kind of just bond with each other at that point, while taking down some pretty dangerous and powerful Decepticons, while Sentinel actually gets a major upgrade. But that's me all today, you guys, and I'll see y'all for the next part. Peace.